Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the insights that matter most. Today we're plunging into the incredible story of a true tech titan, Microsoft. Imagine a company that's not just surviving but absolutely thriving, doubling its stock value in just a few short years while navigating intense competition and epoch-making technological revolutions. It's a fascinating journey of reinvention, and it's happening right now, shaping the very future of technology.
Indeed. It's really striking how a legacy company, one that's been a household name for decades, can show such agility, such foresight, especially now.
Right, in an era defined by disruption.
Exactly. This isn't about small gains. It's a dramatic, calculated shift that really changes its place in the whole global tech order.
That's precisely it. We're going to unpack some truly fascinating insights shared by Tenenbaum, who dissects how Microsoft has not only remained dominant, but has strategically put itself right at the forefront of the AI revolution. And let me tell you, his analysis provides some real aha moments. It really challenges how you might think about them.
Yeah, digging into Tenenbaum's work, you see he cuts through all the surface noise. He reveals the strategic depth behind where Microsoft's heading. It's like a masterclass in leveraging old strengths while really aggressively going after new frontiers, turning weaknesses into advantages even.
Our mission for you, our listener, is to give you a shortcut to understanding the critical decisions, the surprising failures, and the audacious bets that define Microsoft's journey. And crucially, what this all means for the broader tech ecosystem and your own understanding of where the future is headed. This isn't just about one company, it's about the fabric of our digital future, how intelligence is being woven into, well, everything.
Well said. It's a huge story.
Okay, so having set the stage, let's unpack Microsoft's remarkable stock surge. Tenenbaum really puts it into perspective. He points out that the stock price, averaging around, $200 in 2021, it's absolutely soared to over $500 today.
Over $500. That's more than double in a really short time.
Exactly. Now, this isn't just the whole market lifting all boats, is it? It feels like something profound is happening inside Microsoft itself. But is it really unique to them? Or is it just that they're a very big boat getting lifted by the tech tide?
That's a great question, and Tenenbaum addresses it directly. He argues, yeah, the market's up, but the scale of Microsoft's performance, that really stands out. It indicates something much deeper. He basically says this incredible growth is fundamentally tied to their aggressive embrace of AI. Strategic moves in AI right from the start. It positions them as one of the undeniable big winners in this tech boom, a real bellwether.
They're not just benefiting from the tide, they're kind of driving it.
That's the argument, yeah.
And the implications go way beyond just stock prices. It's a powerful example of how even a legacy company, decades old, can reinvent itself. It offers lessons for any organization, really, or even for your own investment strategy, how to anticipate these huge tech shifts.
Right. It showcases the immense power these changes have to completely reshape industries, reshape how you even perceive value in the market. Adaptability isn't just a buzzword, it's survival, it's growth.
So true.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, it shows that even in this fast-moving tech world, having that foundational strength combined with genuinely forward-thinking leadership, well, it can lead to unprecedented success. It kind of challenges that idea that only agile startups can disrupt things, doesn't it? Microsoft, with its deep roots, is showing a legacy player can lead the charge, capture immense new value.
And speaking of those deep roots, Tenenbaum reminds us, Microsoft is one of the oldest, most consistently leading tech companies out there. When you think about that long presence, it implies, well, they must have made many things right to stay on top for so long. They faced some serious challenges.
Oh, absolutely. A prime example Tenenbaum talks about is the challenge from Google. Remember when Google launched its free Office suite?
I do, yeah. That felt huge at the time.
It was a direct assault on Microsoft's core revenue word, Excel, PowerPoint, the heart of their business. Back then, loads of analysts thought this would just commoditize Microsoft's products, cripple a major income source. How do you compete with free?
Yeah, the existential threat felt very real. Everyone was wondering, how can they possibly fight against something that costs nothing?
But here's where Tenenbaum highlights Microsoft's resilience. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Their secret weapon, he argues, wasn't just better features, though their tools were solid, but this out-of-series focus on distribution and these unparalleled, deeply cultivated relationships with clients.
Distribution and client relationship.
Exactly. Think about it. Google's Office suite, it holds a much lesser position in the market today compared to Microsoft Office. That really shows a key strength beyond just the software. It's the whole infrastructure of getting it out there and keeping customers happy.
So it's not just the product, it's the pipes and the trust.
Precisely. It raises that question about competitive advantage. Product innovation is crucial, sure. But Tenenbaum's insight shows that a robust distribution network, those deep customer ties, they can be just as powerful, maybe even more so, long term. Market dominance isn't always about the shiniest new toy. It's often about the pipes and the trust built along the way.
And for you listening, this connects right to your everyday life. Think how ingrained Word, Excel, PowerPoint are. Professionally, personally. Tenenbaum admits he doesn't use Excel like a pro, and let's be honest, who really masters all of Excel? Most of us are just happy if VLOOKUP works.
Huh, true enough.
But he acknowledges its ubiquity, that deep integration being the default for so many businesses, so many people. That's a testament to their distribution power. It's not just what they offer, but how easily and reliably they get it to you. It forms habits, workflows, really hard to dislodge.
That ingrained presence creates this incredibly powerful barrier for competitors. It's not just one person choosing software, it's whole ecosystems, established workflows, decades of muscle memory. That inertia, built through great distribution and service, is a huge asset. It provides a strong foundation for whatever comes next, a self-reinforcing cycle.
Okay, so we've talked about their history, their resilience, defending the core. Now let's look at the modern era. What's propelling this current surge? Tenenbaum explicitly says AI is the first of two main transformative reasons for Microsoft's recent rise. That sets the stage nicely, but what's the second pillar?
The second crucial reason, according to Tenenbaum, is Microsoft's really visionary grasp of how vital servers and data centers would become. He notes that someone has an outstanding eye in Microsoft leadership. Someone recognized early on that owning this foundational infrastructure, the plumbing of the internet, the compute power for the future would be absolutely paramount. It was a massive bet on the underlying architecture, not just the apps running on top.
That's a truly profound insight. While others focused on consumer apps or devices, Microsoft was quietly, diligently building out this global network of data centers. They thought that the sheer volume of data, the immense compute needed for the future, especially for something like AI, demanded massive proprietary infrastructure. And Tenenbaum confirms Azure, their cloud platform, is now seen as an absolute leader, generating huge success. It's not just software anymore, it's owning the digital real estate. The factories processing the world's information, fueling AI.
It's really remarkable how those two pillars, AI and data centers, are so intrinsically linked. They reinforce each other. AI models need immense compute power, massive data storage, so owning the cloud infrastructure becomes a strategic necessity. Microsoft saw that symbiosis. To dominate AI, they needed to own the hardware and services underneath. This foresight, Tenenbaum highlights, has propelled Microsoft to become the second most valuable company in the world.
Second most valuable, trailing only NVIDIA, the chip giant.
Right, and significantly ahead of Apple, which is now, what, $1 trillion behind Microsoft in market cap.
$1 trillion. That's staggering for Apple.
It is. It's a monumental reordering of the tech hierarchy. It just underscores the success of their dual strategy. Own the intelligence layer and its foundational infrastructure.
It really proves the future isn't just about sleek devices. It's increasingly about the underlying intelligence and infrastructure powering everything else. Okay, let's zoom in on Microsoft's AI playbook. It really kicks off with what Tenenbaum calls the OpenAI masterstroke, the strategic alliance that just changed the game. He emphasizes Microsoft was behind OpenAI, saw its importance early, invested heavily, and basically launched it onto the global stage. This move, he argues, left competitors like Google and Meta playing catch-up in that critical first phase of the AI race. It felt like a bold leapfrog maneuver.
It absolutely was. And what's interesting, as Tenenbaum points out, is Microsoft's own history of, well, missteps in areas where they failed to dominate. He mentions Bing, right? Which never worked as a search engine, despite huge investment, even trying to inject AI later on. And Internet Explorer, it beat Netscape initially, sure, but then lost massively to Google Chrome. Tenenbaum thinks a big part of that was Microsoft lacking its own successful hardware, unlike Google with Android phones.
Right, sometimes it's more than just the product, it's the ecosystem, the strategy.
Exactly. These past experiences show that even with great tech and resources, you need the right approach.
It shows they can learn from failures, though, not get bogged down by sunk costs. But this OpenAI alliance is new for Microsoft. They're famous for acquiring companies outright, right? Integrating them fully. Tenenbaum speculates that if they could have, they would have bought it, which suggests how unique, maybe essential this partnership was, not a typical takeover.
It really raises questions about their decision-making DNA. Usually they'd absorb a company. The alliance model suggests a sophisticated recognition that maybe some innovations thrive better with independence, especially given OpenAI's nonprofit roots and its talk around ethical AI. It's a nuanced approach, prioritizing speed and maybe that public perception of independence over outright control. It let them move incredibly fast.
Okay, so after that OpenAI masterstroke, they quickly deployed what Tenenbaum calls the Copilot Gambit. Clever integration into their core products. He describes Copilot as something that used to be a minor feature in Word or Excel, offered some basic help, often a bit clunky, but then Microsoft injected it with artificial intelligence, totally transformed it from a simple helper into a real force multiplier.
Indeed, and a crucial detail Tenenbaum highlights. Copilot got, and mostly still has, exclusivity to use ChatGPT within Microsoft's Azure system. That's a brilliant strategic move. Connecting ChatGPT's cutting-edge AI directly to their massive client-based businesses, billions of users, and embedding it deep within Windows, which still dominates PCs. It instantly gave their existing products this huge competitive edge, turning familiar software into intelligent, proactive assistants.
And while the full results of the Copilot experiment are, as Tenenbaum says, yet to be seen, his analysis suggests it's a very clever way to leverage their existing market penetration. It meets users where they already are, right? In the apps they use every day. Not forcing new habits, just making existing tools smarter.
Exactly. Seamless integration into workflows.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it means the AI you interact with daily, at work or home, could increasingly be powered by Microsoft's integrations. Regardless of the brand on your device, it's not just a new product. It's infusing AI so deeply it becomes almost invisible, but really impactful. A quiet revolution in familiar interfaces.
Your documents, spreadsheets, emails, becoming intelligent partners.
This brings us back to that core question. Microsoft's decision-making DNA. Buy or build. Tenenbaum reinforces that their history is heavily rooted in acquisitions. The company's origin story, he reminds us, started with acquiring DOS, not building it. That set a pattern.
You're right, and we've seen it again and again. He mentions Hotmail, for instance. It was huge, great mail of the world, but eventually lost to Gmail. Shows not all acquisitions are forever wins. Google innovated faster, offered more, then there's Skype. Tenenbaum calls that an indigestible acquisition. Despite its promise, Microsoft struggled to integrate it effectively. It declined, eventually closed. Shows they're willing to cut losses.
It really shows a certain pragmatism. They let go if it's not working, despite the investment. Tenenbaum argues Microsoft excels at leveraging what they have, whether it's the existing customer base for Copilot or their global sales force pushing Azure. This core idea, building on existing strengths, relationships, market penetration, that clearly guides their AI strategy, not starting from zero, but amplifying existing assets with new tech.
And what's fascinating is how efficient that leveraging approach is, especially for a giant like Microsoft. Instead of always chasing new markets or building everything from scratch, they see how tech like AI from OpenAI can dramatically boost the value of what they already have, reduces risk, accelerates market penetration for new stuff, gives them an almost unfair advantage introducing AI to billions.
And now let's talk about the Nadella factor. Satya Nadella, the CEO. Tenenbaum calls him very serious, known for pragmatic leadership. But then he highlights this recent article by Nadella that Tenenbaum describes as almost science fiction, talking about conscious computers, AGI. Seems like quite a departure for him.
It absolutely does. Just to clarify for listeners, AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, that's AI that can do any intellectual task a human can. Consciousness, self-awareness, true understanding. Nadella's article, as Tenenbaum reads it, has two interpretations. One, maybe AGI genuinely arrives in, 3 years, which Tenenbaum finds unlikely. The hurdles are huge. Or the second, maybe more provocative idea, AI will make us believe it's conscious, we'll interact with it as if it's sentient, even if it isn't in a human biological sense, a powerful illusion.
That's a profound difference. Not real consciousness, but mimicking it so well we perceive it that way. Tenenbaum finds this article rare, coming from such a very practical company, not one known for philosophical musings. He wonders why he decided to publish that now. Suggests a strategic reason, right? Shaping the narrative, preparing the market, positioning Microsoft with these deep, future-forward questions.
It really makes you ask, what does it mean for a major tech leader to publicly speculate on AI consciousness? Is it confidence in their progress? a warning about societal implications, or a strategic narrative to position Microsoft at the forefront of this huge discussion.
Yeah.
It definitely sparks debate, aligns them with the deepest questions about AI's future, influences perception.
And Tenenbaum connects Nadella's vision back to Bill Gates. He says the bet on artificial intelligence is his concept.
Mhm.
Even though Gates only owns about 4% now, isn't involved in management focuses on health, Alzheimer's research, using AI there too. Interestingly, his enthusiasm for artificial intelligence clearly influenced that deep dive into OpenAI. It's like his intellectual legacy still steers parts of their strategy.
Indeed. It shows how a founder's long-term vision can keep shaping a company years after stepping back. Gates' early belief in AI's potential laid the groundwork, fostered a culture ready for this kind of big bet, made the OpenAI alliance feel like a natural step.
So for you listening, here's the bigger question. What does it mean when a tech leader like Nadella publicly speculates on AI consciousness? Is it confidence? A warning? A strategic narrative? The answers will shape not just tech, but our whole society. Let's shift now to the broader AI landscape. Starting with this interesting dynamic, Tenenbaum highlights OpenAI's ethical appeal versus Microsoft's clear profit motive. He explains OpenAI, especially with ChatGPT-5, has the best scores in everything, superior performance across tasks, medicine, problem-solving, an estimated IQ of 125 that's way ahead of competitors.
It's not just raw performance, though, compelling as that is. Tenenbaum identifies this crucial intangible. People trust OpenAI more than any other. He compares it to Google's old "don't be evil" motto. OpenAI has cultivated this perception of ethical behavior, responsible development. Their public talk, Tenenbaum says, sounds like a foundation that wants it to reach everyone for humanity's benefit. That builds trust, especially now with ChatGPT-5 opening up more.
That trust factor is huge, isn't it? In a field where ethics are constantly debated. But Tenenbaum also acknowledges Microsoft's clear profit motive. How do you see those two OpenAI's trust, Microsoft's profit drive interacting? Do they conflict or complement each other?
That's a critical tension. Tenenbaum implies this balance is key to their success. On one hand, Microsoft integrating OpenAI benefits from that goodwill. Users might be more willing to adopt Microsoft AI products if they trust the underlying tech. That's complementary. On the other hand, if that trust gets compromised by Microsoft's commercial goals, the ethical appeal could vanish, harming both. Tenenbaum says, nobody doubts that Microsoft is a company that wants to make money, which is logical, but that clear intent means they have to tread carefully on ethics. This balance points to a bigger trend. Perceived ethics are becoming a real competitive advantage, shaping adoption, regulation.
This leads us to another big debate. Open versus walled gardens in AI. As a user, what do you prefer? An open system, everyone competes. Or a more delimited proprietary world like Microsoft plus ChatGPT or Anthropic's cloud. It's a fundamental choice.
Tenenbaum, well, he believes in competition. He argues it leads to either closed gardens or open gardens, and users will choose. But he quickly dismisses open source as the dominant future for AI. He points to Linux versus Windows or macOS, limited adoption for open source and operating systems. He thinks AI, with its complexity, ethics, huge resource needs, it's different.
That's a bold claim, given all the buzz around open source AI models. But Tenenbaum offers a core reason. The father principle. He suggests people want this to have a father. Users, individuals, or businesses want to know someone is taking care of this. They want accountability, security, someone responsible for the AI's behavior, its safety.
He contrasts this with Meta, Mistral, Chinese companies offering open source AI. He claims people don't trust them the same way because that clear, accountable father figure is missing.
The father principle. Interesting.
What's really compelling is his analogy to streaming platforms. Disney Plus, Netflix. You pay for what you get, right? You don't expect one platform to have everything. Similarly, in AI, Tenenbaum suggests competition will focus on getting and keeping customers within their own curated offerings. It implies a future where you might subscribe to an AI ecosystem, like a streaming service. You get its strengths, its ethics, its capabilities, not a free-for-all of untethered open source models. So trust, performance, dedicated parental oversight, those become key differentiators.
That makes sense. Framing AI as a managed service, not a universal utility. And this brings us to another huge shift Tenenbaum predicts, the AI agent's revolution. Redefining search, information consumption, completely. He highlights that traditional search isn't the only place people get info or ads anymore, and this is about to fundamentally change how we use the internet.
Indeed. Google might say its search numbers haven't dropped much, but Tenenbaum argues that metric is misleading now. He introduces agents, AI programs that don't just search, they perform multiple operations in a single operation. So an agent might hit Google 50 times in the background for one complex task you give it. But that still counts as only one search from your perspective. You only ask the agent once. The underlying activity is way higher.
Ah, that's a crucial distinction. The AI acts like a power user, doing tons of microsearches for one high-level query. Tenenbaum clarifies this with that supermarket analogy: wholesale versus retail. Wholesale, fewer customers, bigger transactions. Retail, more customers, smaller, frequent buys. AI agents turn search into a wholesale operation. Fewer direct user searches, but each one triggers potentially far more underlying queries, changes the economics, changes advertising models.
This really raises questions about the future of search engines and their ad revenues. If direct human interaction drops, even if agents still query them, how do ad models adapt? Wholesale AI interactions versus retail human ones.
Tenenbaum emphasizes forecasting here is very difficult. Everything's new, accelerating like crazy. Companies are holding their cards close. This is arguably the biggest invention of humanity. High stakes, shifting daily.
And for you, listening, this shift means you might increasingly delegate huge amounts of info gathering, comparison, analysis to AI agents, changing how you interact with the internet, consume content. Instead of hours searching, comparing, you just tell an agent what you need. Plan a trip, research something, synthesize data. It handles the legwork. A profound shift towards delegation.
Reshaping your entire digital workflow and information diet. Okay, let's turn to navigating the future from an investment angle. Betting on management. Tenenbaum emphasizes this core lesson. When investing, especially now, you're betting on management's vision, their strategy, their imagination. Why? Because, as he says, nobody knows what will happen. Your trust is in their ability to see around corners, adapt, seize opportunities.
That's exactly why leadership is paramount. Tenenbaum, without hesitation, picks Microsoft for management and trajectory. Cites its long history of success navigating tech cycles, its proven ability to lead through shifts, speaks volumes about current leadership.
And for creativity and future vision, he points straight to Google. You see that in their moonshot projects, right? Cutting-edge research, always experimenting. Then if your bet is on social networks as info and purchasing hubs, Tenenbaum picks Meta. He notes, interestingly, Meta's ad revenue hasn't dropped. Facebook's usage is still massive, despite what you might hear. That scale is a huge asset.
What's really fascinating, and maybe a bit unnerving, is Tenenbaum's story about Meta's stealth marketing using AI. He was talking about an Italy trip in WhatsApp. Moments later, Meta inserts this detailed explanation of places to visit in Italy right into the chat. He found it spectacular, not creepy, because it was so relevant, perfectly timed, as if someone had written it having read the chat.
Wow, as if someone read the chat.
And he clarifies, Meta does read chats by default unless you change privacy settings, which most people don't. This data access gives Meta an enormous distribution channel for AI personalization. They might lack Microsoft's history or Google's research breadth, but Tenenbaum argues Meta's strength is these huge social networks where people get info from friends, the seamless AI integration not feeling like an ad. That's Meta's unique, powerful leverage.
So he highlights that trade-off, right?
Right.
Utility versus privacy.
Absolutely. Meta's ability to personalize so well, even analyzing private chats. It's powerful, if ethically complex. It leverages social trust in ways traditional ads can't. For many users, convenience outweighs privacy concerns, creates this powerful system where targeted AI content becomes normal, a dynamic we're all navigating.
Okay, now for the stark warnings. Tenenbaum talks about fading stars, companies to discard sooner or later in the AI revolution. He suggests quite strongly, if you're in the West, discard all Chinese AI companies DeepSeek, Alibaba's smaller efforts. Also, non-public European ones like Mistral, Canadian ones like Cohere, believe they'll ultimately be eaten by the big players.
It's a bold prediction, and he gives reasons. Niche markets are under threat from this horizontal AI growth. He points to AutoCAD, the main tool for architects, says AI is about to finish with its advantage. How? By automating design tasks, generating blueprints from text, creating models from concepts, reducing the need for manual drafting. Similarly, Wix, the website builder, he says it lost its place. AI agents can now generate entire custom websites from prompts functional, dynamic, SEO optimized, makes Wix's template approach less competitive, shows how general AI will just absorb specialized software areas.
That's incredibly disruptive for whole industries, whole professions. Tenenbaum strongly believes Chinese AI stays mostly in its closed garden domestic market, but struggling globally in the West. He cites an MIT article he found embarrassing, suggesting AI adoption in companies, even for leaders, is slower than expected globally. Why? Users don't understand it, fear replacement, headwinds for everyone, but existential threats for smaller players.
And what's really interesting is his sour grapes fable about Chinese chip problems highlights the geopolitics. He talks about China struggling with advanced chips, their response to U.S. restrictions. After being told the U.S. sold them the worst chips to hook them on NVIDIA's CDA software, that's NVIDIA's platform, locks you into their GPUs. China said they wouldn't buy NVIDIA chips anymore. Tenenbaum likens it to the fox and the grapes fable, calling the grapes sour only after failing to reach them, failing to secure their own advanced chips. Leads him to emphatically say, forget about China in the global AI race, at least outside its borders. He also dismisses Europe's ability to develop its own successful AI, citing issues with fragmentation and scale.
That's a very strong statement on the geopolitical AI divide, a fragmented future. But Tenenbaum drops another bonus track prediction, equally disruptive, maybe more: marketplaces. Amazon, Mercado Libre, he says they'll eventually have to surrender to agents, could reshape how we all shop online.
It really raises fundamental questions about consumer behavior, digital commerce. Agents, he explains, don't need nice logos, curated experiences. They just need to buy the cheapest possible item that meets criteria and ensure it arrives on time. This hyper-efficiency, optimizing purely for price and delivery, it drives down prices, makes traditional marketplaces reliant on branding and experience much less relevant.
And the prognosis for these giants is pretty grim, according to Tenenbaum. He predicts a future where these companies will simply anonymize, become mere logistical pipes agents use to fulfill orders. Marketplaces, as we know them, will die of hunger much earlier than we might think. The only place competition might remain, he thinks, is delivery speed. Pay $200 for today versus $150 for 5 days. But even logistics, he believes, will have very little value overall, almost a commodity.
Interestingly, he suggests Chinese companies like Shein, Alibaba could re-enter the field specifically in logistics, but with a big if tariffs don't stop them from dumping goods and competing unfairly. That's a huge geopolitical factor. Trade policy dictates who can even play in this efficient, agent-driven delivery game. Shows how even future predictions are tied to real-world politics.
And his firm prediction: agents will do a lot of damage to marketplaces in the next 3 years.
And
That's a profound shift for your online shopping, a world where you might not browse Amazon. Just tell an agent what you need. It handles everything, complete delegation. So as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, we started with Microsoft's amazing surge, doubling its stock value. Tenenbaum's analysis shows a company that's consistently serious, strategic, willing to fail, Skype, explore, then deselect, move on dispassionately. That's a hallmark of its strength: adaptability, no getting caught in pride or sunk costs, ruthless focus on what works, what's next.
indeed. And what's fascinating is how they leveraged that history, those existing strengths, distribution, client relationships, user base, to pivot into AI and data centers. They saw owning the infrastructure was as vital as the AI itself. That visionary dual strategy propelled them to #2 globally, redefined what a tech leader is now.
We've also seen how that OpenAI alliance shapes not just tech, but the critical ethical narrative, a unique advantage where trust matters so much. And Tenenbaum's insights on the broader landscape paint this vivid picture: an industry transforming, open versus walled gardens, search being redefined, marketplaces threatened by AI agents.
It really raises that question about digital commerce, information consumption. If the future is AI agents acting for you, it's a huge paradigm shift. These
Right.
agents making choices for you, optimizing price, speed, ethics you set. The act of shopping or researching becomes just giving a high-level directive.
So as you, our listener, navigate this fast-evolving world, consider this. If the future shifts from your direct interaction to AI agents acting for you, what new skills will you need to manage these intelligent assistants effectively? And what does it really mean for your autonomy, your identity as a consumer, when so many decisions are delegated? We've only scratched the surface. The future will be incredibly efficient and deeply thought-provoking.